Hello everyone, Mary Rose here at Stitch Bliss Corner, and the second week of Maynia. And a funny thing happened to me on the way to the second week of Maynia, but I'll let you know what that was very shortly. Well, I suppose without further ado, I shall ask Harlequin, and that's my husband. To anyone who was wondering, yes, I did get a comment where someone was asking me who this mysterious Harlequin was. So, yes, he's the international man of mystery. I'll ask him to insert the pictures now of my stitching stages here. Maynia day 9, and I've been continuing working along here. I imagine I will get this section done tomorrow. That's a little boat there, and then I shall be moving on up to the top. And oops, so I'm just after there's the seagulls and the two little boats and everything. And of course I've got this tree to do tomorrow. So I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Maynia day 10, and I've done all this today. Heading for the home straight up the top here, helped by the fact that a certain number of the stitches up there are just half stitches. Now here in the actual pattern, they were full crosses. The land there was full cross, but I decided to make it half stitches to give a bit of distance. So that was a bit of stitches license going on there. And I just prefer that. I do like to put a few touches of my own in. Anyway, I shall get back to you at the end of stitching tomorrow. This is Maynia day 11, and I have completed all the crosses and half crosses of the stitching. So it's not it's about, I don't know, 4:30 in the afternoon at the moment. Sorry, this is juddering around a bit. Here, I just did half stitches to create a bit of distance, and I did the same over here. I frogged that out. They were full crosses, and I've made them half again. You can see the seagulls are there now, and the sails on the boats. And I've done a little bit of playing around with the sky too. Some of it I've done, instead of 3 strands that were suggested for the white colour in the clouds, I've done 1 strand in places, just to contrast with the full crosses of the sails of the boats. I just thought, well, it'd be good to just put a little bit of, just change the number of threads, because that's what I do. Anyway, so I thought I'd better show you this part, because I'm going to be doing the couching this evening, or starting on couching, which is what I use instead of backstitch. So I thought, well, I'll show you what it looks like without the outlining and everything, so that you can see what it'll look like afterwards. Maynia, still day 11, and I just thought I'd update you. I'm about to head off to bed, and I just wanted to update you on the piece. Now, I showed you just the crosses completed this afternoon, and since then I've been doing some couching for my outlining of the shapes of the piece. So as you can see, I've done the birds here and the little boats, and across here I'm going around the tiles on the roof and coming down the side, and I've done a lot of the stairway there, the handrails and everything, and the steps. So I should imagine that I'll have the outlining all done by, oh, I don't know, sometime tomorrow. And then after that, I'm going to be doing some French knots on, probably on these mostly, and maybe a few just there, because I really do like the French knots, and I think they make a piece come alive. So yeah, that's where I'm up to, and I shall catch you tomorrow. Maynia day 12. It's about 3 in the afternoon, and I think I've finished the piece now. I've done all the outlining. I started that yesterday afternoon, and then I did a lot of this morning, and the outlining on the leaves there. I wasn't too thrilled with how straight that tree is, but you know, the trunk of the tree. But then I thought, well, there are some trees that are straight like that, so I let that one go. And there are quite a few French knots in here, which I've done. There's yellowy orange ones there. So I think I'll just do some along here, and then I'm going to call it a day. But that would be the completed piece, as far as the actual instructions go anyway. So when I've done a little bit more of my own, I will show it to you. This area here, where it looks a bit funny, that's just where the hoop's been, and there's a bit of a crease there, so don't take too much notice of that. All right, well, I shall get back to you once I've done those few extra French knots. Just a final update. I've just done a few French knots here, and I've called that quits. I think that completes the piece, and I will show it again to you on my next update. Well, my next video, face to camera anyway. So that's my Maynia finished, but Harlequin has suggested that I should do another one because there's still half a month left. So I will decide on that very shortly. So as you can see, I finished my stitching earlier than I thought I was going to. So I thought, well, what am I going to do now? You know, is that the end of my Maynia? And Harlequin said to me, well, you know, why don't you do another one? And because that's what he does, you know, he doesn't say, I think you should. He says things like, why don't you? Which was another thing I used to do with my children, actually. If I wanted them to do something, most of the time, instead of saying, do this, you know, I'd say, why don't you do this, that, and the other? Because then if they didn't want to do it, it wasn't an act of defiance. It was just left till a bit later when I'd approach it a different way. Until eventually, if something had to be done and quickly, it was the counting method, you know. If I get to 3, there'll be trouble, basically. And they knew that it was action stations when I got to that stage. Which wasn't that often, I have to say. How did I get on to children? Anyway, so I said to him, all right, I'll do that. So I have gone on to another piece, and I will show you that piece now. Or maybe I better show you the first piece I finished, and then we can discuss the second piece that I've started. That might be the best way to go. All right, so until I just get it together here. For those who missed the first Maynia part, this is the one that I stitched in the first instance. So I'm just going to put that there. And oh, excuse my throat this morning. It often happens when I do Flosstube. It's like when I talk to my sister on the phone, her voice goes as well. I think it must be a family failing. But anyway, yes, there it is, it finished. And I did do a few extra French knots down here because in the actual charting there were French knots here. So I just added a few down here. So what I'm going to do is I took a picture with the iPad so I can just show you a bit closer up, which is better than holding the stitching up, I think. See if we can get this right here. It just shows you the detail better. Put a mark on there. So, as you know, I don't do backstitch, I do couching. So, I've got a video on couching somewhere. I'll get Harlequin to put the link below. So I'm just going to try and get this so it's bigger for you. So there's my couching there. And there's some more down there where the plants are. And I'll just show you my French knots. And I mean, they're not even because nature isn't even. And that's what gives it its charm, I think. So anyway, that is the stitching. Now, I'll go on to the other one in a minute. People have asked or mentioned to me about my handy hints for successful dimensions completion, and I have decided to do a separate video with as many handy hints for success with dimensions as I can find. Now, dimensions kits, as the bigger ones, are probably easier because there are more areas of the same for, colours that you're stitching. Whereas the petite ones, they really are, well, you have to attack them like they're a scientific experiment, because if you just innocently open the chart of a petite, it really is quite daunting. But with my handy hints, you will find that you'll probably be able to do them a lot more quickly and a lot more effectively, so that you don't waste a lot of time, which can easily happen, or get disheartened because, I know I'm making it sound like it's some sort of cryptic crossword as compared to an ordinary crossword. It's not really like that. I think it's more that you can get a bit flustered with them. But the rewards for petites are really high because, they are they're small, but they're intricate, but they're worth doing. So anyway, let's get on, shall we? So, to the second one, and I will show that to you now. Oh, no, maybe, yes, I'll show you the actual picture, and then Harlequin can put in the stages that I've done so far. Because I think that was day 12, I ended up starting this one because I'd finished the other one by the afternoon of day 12. Because part of that is because I don't backstitch, I couch. And when you couch, it's a lot quicker. For example, this line across here, there, I just did one big long piece of thread right the way across, and then I just looped over the top to hold it into position. So if you can imagine going along that in backstitch, it'd take, you know, quite some time. But if you just go across with one long stitch and just, you know, nail it down, basically, it's done in no time. But anyway, that's one of my handy hints. So there you go. Now then, just forgive my nail, I've been out in the garden. Now, now then, Overlook Cafe, that's what I started. And it's by Sung Kim. So that's the one that I decided to go on with. So I'll just show you that now. Oh no, we'll go to the stages now, and then come back to me when you've seen those. Welcome to Maynia Part 2, Compliments of Harlequin. Because when I told him that I finished the first petite today, which is 12 days in, he suggested I do another one. So, you know, I thought, well, why not, seeing as I'm enjoying myself so much. It's the Overlook Cafe by Sung Kim on 18 count Ada. And there are the threads there. And also I've prepared them as I did for the other petite. And there's some extra over there. I mean, I really think that's an awful lot of green and blue for the size of the piece. But I'm not complaining because, you know, extra thread is extra thread. And down here is the piece of fabric ready to go. Whenever I get a kit, I always take the fabric out and pre-grid it ready, so that if I'm going to take it out later, it's all ready to go and I don't have to wait with my gridding. So we'll see how we go. This evening I'll make a start on it and I'll show you as far as I get this evening, and we'll go from there. Hello everyone. This is still day 12 of Maynia, but I finished the original petite I started, and Harlequin in his wisdom suggested, because it's only halfway through, that I should do another one. So I'm doing this one. It's Overlook Cafe by Sung Kim on 18 count Ada. Now I'm just about to pop off to bed now because I started it this evening, and this is as far as I've got. And it's, in this area here, because I started in the middle, and what I'm thinking is that I'll work across and get most of the cafe scene in first, and then I'll go over to the right and do the water last, I think. So that's my start, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow night for the 13th day tomorrow. Day 13, Maynia, and this is the second petite that I've begun. And I tried to minimise the reflection off my lights here, but that was the best I could do. Now here's my second day of stitching on this particular piece, and here is just the bare Ada, which is what they have incorporated into the design to not have any stitches there. And I must say that if I was doing this just myself, and not sort of trying to stick to the chart, because I thought, well, if I'm doing it for Maynia, I really should do it exactly as the chart has put it. Except for the last one, I did do a few French knots, but not that many. But in this case, there are quite a, there's where it says to use 3 threads, I'm using them. Whereas when I have done other dimensions, I've just pleased myself how many threads to use and everything. But there's a very nice blended thread. Just, how can I point it out? Sorry, it's very hard to do this through the iPad because you think you're pointing one way and you're pointing another. Here, this greenish looking, that's blue and green together, blended threads. It looks pretty good, I mean, it's quite enjoyable doing that. So anyway, I think that's all I had to say about it really. And we'll just see where I get to tomorrow. End of Maynia day 14. And this is my progress. I think I'll probably restitch that little set of stitches there because they look a bit dodgy. So, I mean, I'm fairly okay with the evenness of stitches because it is stitching, so I'm not one to be overly concerned with how a stitch looks. I mean, it's not diamond painting. So, I mean, if you want accuracy of each little unit of colour, maybe stitching isn't the way to go. Maybe it's the diamond painting. But anyway, but even so, I think that little bit there looks a bit dodgy. So that'll be coming out tomorrow. There's the original, and I'm quite looking forward to this awning here. That's going to be fun doing that. I've done the fringe part there, so that's the thing. I was stitching this black piece here, and I thought, what's a strange looking chimney? And then how you have chimneys on the side of houses that look like that, and I thought that can't be right. And of course it isn't. It's the darkness of the room, and those are the curtains there either side. Anyway, I'm going to do an update video today. Sorry, not today, tomorrow, which will be the 15th. And I'll chat to you a little bit more about dimensions, petites and things. So I'll catch you then. Right, so here I am with my live stitching. So I've got my iPad on my lap because I'm just going to show you a bit of a close-up like I did with the other one. Look at all the detail on that. Well, it is confetti, but I think if you plan it, it's fine. So that's where I'm up to anyway, as you've seen. So I'll carry on with that when I finish this video. I'll just show you the close-up here. Now, where's my little pencil? Now here, down there is going to be the side of the building, and can you see that's Bear Ada there, and Bear Ada here and here, which, as I think I said in one of my update videos of the stitching, I probably would do something about that. I'd probably do white, and I might just do single strand full cross or full cross of white, because I quite like that. Although I don't mind the bare Ada. I mean, maybe it just gives it a bit more depth to just be bare. I don't really know. I'll have to decide later. And here, this is all half stitch, 3 threads. And that is tremendously enjoyable doing that, actually. So, and this is the dodgy bit I was talking about earlier. Just try and make it a bit bigger there. You see, you know, I have my limits there. So that'll be going. But not that you'd probably notice that much anyway when it was all done. It's really shows up more when you're, you know, stitching that part. It shows up more, I think. So that's where I'm up to with the Maynia. Now, I just thought before I go, I would just show you, well, people who watch me have already seen this one, but I couldn't help but, you know, get it out for another airing. And that's just to show you that although a petite is a small stitching, you can make it look very nice indeed. And that's this one, Dreaming of Tuscany. And it's one of my absolute favourites. Recycled picture frame, and I did some extra stitching around the edge. The fabric I dyed with food dye, so that was really easy. And the bottle there, it's got 1953 on it. I think the original one was 1940 something or other. But I decided to put 1953 because that was the year I was born. So I thought that was a very good year indeed. So anyway, so it's just to give you some ideas on what you can do with a petite if you want to, you know, just extend its capabilities a little bit. I think this one, it was easier to do because I used my own fabric, so there was more room. You see, if you are thinking of doing anything ambitious around a petite, you probably need to use your own piece of fabric so that you've got a bit of room, because you know, they don't leave a lot of room for anything extra. Just a little add-on, the Dreaming of Tuscany piece reminded me of an ad from Dolce & Gabbana, and I'll get Harlequin to put a link below. It's very Tuscany. But that's just to give you an idea. I mean, I did do Beach Babies, and with that one, that was the dimensions, but it wasn't a petite. With that one, I put a bit of washi tape round the border, and that came out quite nicely too. So I wonder if I should show you that one. Yes, I'll go and get it and show it to you. Back soon. My goodness, it's a tight squeeze because I have all these lights around me. Right, anyway, so here's the Beach Babies. And as you can see, this is another one that you had to really plan for success. But I got some washi tape and just put it around the outside of the piece. And you might see their little, what are they? Little lollipops, you know. So that's that one. So you can sort of think of a few ideas that enhances your work without overpowering what you've stitched, because the stitching's the most important part, of course. Now, was there anything else? I don't think so. I think it was just really an update, and just to let you know that I would be doing a dedicated handy hints, and I shall catch you next. Well, when I've finished this piece that I'm doing here, I'll catch up with you when I've done that. So until then, happy stitching, everybody. Look after yourselves, and just keep on keeping on, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.